Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's ResNexus webinar. This time we're joined by Hostel Cubed. I got with me Jeff Mano and Douglas Higgins. These are the co-founders of Hostel Cubed, and we're excited to show you about this new dwelling option available to you. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'll kick it over to them, and they'll present for a while. And if you ever have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A, and we'll get to those kind of at the end of the presentation. So, hey, thanks so much for coming on, guys.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff, co-founder of Hostel Cubed. I'm here with Douglas Higgins. We're really excited to have this moment with you guys. It's been a really fun multi-year journey for us. We absolutely love ResNexus. We are not only here to speak to you, but we are also an avid client of ResNexus and have had huge success using their products. So we're really excited to not only share what we've been designing and manufacturing here, but also how we're bringing it all to life here. So as we get things going, I'm going to really turn it on over to co-founder Douglas Higgins to pick up the mic and start rolling with this. But we're really looking forward to a great conversation and talking to you guys not only today, but into the future here. So welcome and Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, and thanks Jeff for making it. I know it's been a harried morning with the fires, up in LA, and it hasn't been easy, so appreciate you sticking with it, and to anyone else out there who might be in that region, thoughts and prayers to everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, so we've got a quick video, I guess we'll start with just to summarize what we've done, the example of our real prototypical installation here. And so why don't we start with that, and then that should address some of the questions up front, and then I'll come back in a minute.
Great. So we'll dive into that overview and then we'll pick right up back up there. So go ahead and take a listen here for about another minute.
Step into your very own glamping cabin, an island of luxury surrounded by nature. These stunning cabins are not just a place to stay. They are an experience that is comfortably wild. Picture beautifully designed interiors that will make you feel right at home, no matter where you are. Climate control and great insulation will keep your guests cozy in winter and cool in summer. Now, let's talk about being eco-friendly. These cabins are solar ready, which means you can harness the sun's energy and reduce those utility bills without site infrastructure. The best part is that with turnkey installation, you can have your glamping village set up and ready to rent in months, not years. Our hard-sided, air-conditioned glamping structures are built to last and generate great ROI. So, if you're ready to elevate your outdoor experience, check out the link below and make your dream a reality. We are offering a $2,500 launch discount to ResNexus customers that order before the end of January.
Finance options are available for less than $600 per month. Email hello@hostel3.com for more information.
All right. So we'll come back to the product in a second. That was that was our preview. But I guess a little bit more about us. Jeff and I both are avid outdoorsmen. We came from the hospitality industry. I think both of us were working in luxury hospitality real estate for a couple of decades. And we've been on just about every side of hospitality, from development and real estate to operations, asset management, financing. We've been franchisors, managers, all of that. And so I think in the luxury world, it's pretty exclusive. And part of what we wanted to do in our personal lives, we experienced a real shortage of available camping options. And state park stuff is great, but it's really hard to book a site. It's cumbersome. Even the private sites on weekends are really hard to find. We really wanted to make more great places in nature accessible to more people, and that was what we were doing with Hostel Cubed. Is it's an inclusive experience. It is designed to be more accessible and affordable, and get more structured accommodations, 4 seasons, in more campgrounds and RV parks around initially the US and hopefully the world. And so our approach here is modular. And so what we're manufacturing are sleeping cabins that are modular in nature. And so we have assemblies, that can be put together, with other components that we can show you, at the end of the presentation. But the assumption is a lot of the places that these are going to go are already going to have some existing facilities. And so the way that we can keep costs down is creating insulated, air-conditioned sleeping cabins, really focusing on making that a great product and keeping, the pricing kind of accessible and affordable with the durability of a building, but the experience still kind of a cabin. And so that was the genesis of our company. We got together a couple of years ago, really. We reconnected. We've known each other for a while, but we reconnected just because there's a lot of things going on in our lives, and we really were passionate about this. And so that's how we got started. So can you go next?
Yeah, and I'll lay around really quick there. For us folks, as you get to know us, as Doug mentioned, that's something can't go really underemphasizes. Doug and I have lived and breathed this industry from all angles. We are owners and partners in this development, this pilot in Joshua Tree, where it's our own money making this venture work, and that's all the photos you're seeing. We have been developers, we have been managers, we have launched dozens of ventures from the ground up, from concept to cash flow, through optimization. And so we really understand the pains that go through taking an idea from concept to reality and then struggling through to optimize and grow through multiple economic cycles, natural disasters, et cetera. And so as we continue to go through this, we brought a lot of that knowledge and a lot of that, a calamity, if you will, from our backgrounds into the fold here to make this something that's really painless for owners, developers, and then, of course, property managers, if they're already here on that. So we want to bring that to you. And really, as it comes to this, we really want, at the end of the day, the guest journey has been part and parcel of our entire ethos from, decades ago when we went to school. And it's really to go on this inspirational, thought-provoking journey with each destination you go to. And so when we come to design the strategic capabilities of our organization, our approach to each project is about transforming campgrounds and RV parks into unforgettable experiences. And so we can really help bring a lot of that breadth of experiences to you.
Yeah, I think we really came from, places where it was just a question of how, right? Like if you wanted to get something done, you just got to, figure out the right approach. And there's a lot of different variables, to adding accommodations to RV parks. In this case, we did a custom design, which is what you're seeing here. That can be adaptable, but it's really experience first for us, and trying to figure out how to get the right accommodations in with the right design. And so one attribute of the cabins you see with us is that our cabins are pretty blank slates on the outside. On the inside, they're very curated, they're very nice. On the outside, they're customizable, to just about any environment, and so that really speaks to this quote here. But if you want to go to the next slide, Jeff, we really started, with this significant shortage, of camping options of affordable overnight options anywhere really in the California coast. Jeff's up in LA, I'm down in San Diego. I was an asset manager for several assets in the Southern California region, where we had to go to Coastal Commission and ask for their permission, and support, in some redevelopment that we were doing. And one of the things that kind of led to Hostel Cubed was that they have affordable accommodation requirements. When you're doing high-priced lodging products on the coastline, you also need to provide affordable lodging products. And it became pretty clear that nobody has been able to offer low-cost accommodations, overnight accommodations on the California coastline. The Coastal Commission's collected over $20 million to subsidize development of affordable accommodations. And so that was kind of the initial market, that we started developing for. but the private RV market is really in significant need of this, and it's a little easier to start in the private world as opposed to going through all of the government red tape. And so we refocused here. We did our pilot program with the private park in Joshua Tree, and we started getting phenomenal reviews and a lot of interest. I think our partnership now with ResNexus and a couple of other channel providers, that can see our numbers and our reviews, that they're calling us because they like what they see. And so this is really what we're focused on, is addressing these really high prices and chronic shortages of affordable accommodations on the California coastline and throughout the US. And so one thing that we have seen is that the outdoor industry is one of the fastest growing segments of the hospitality industry. And particularly within that niche, the hard-sided types of accommodations seem to be of particular interest to guests. And so we did a lot of market research. We talked to some soft-sided accommodation providers in the development of our products. And that was one of the biggest pain points that they kept hearing. One of the biggest objections was that, look, I'm not comfortable, or I don't want to pay to stay in a soft-sided structure. And so that's kind of part of what led us down this path of the hard-sided structures.
And the one thing we'll add here too is, we are also working closely with HipCamp. And for those of you out there know, HipCamp really has some great macro data across the entire industry. One of the reasons we're working closely with them is because their demand for hard-sided structures is absolutely booming and far exceeding supply. So it's such an important initiative to them, and why we're working with them is because they are trying to figure out how to get more hard-sided structures to more places across the nation here to support all sides, from customer experience, customer demand, to also help monetize those who could really help address this underserved need. And so let's dive in a little bit further here as we really talk a bit about our pilot venture. And what we're kind of calling this is Convert the Dirt. What we did is, Joshua Tree Lake RV is a legacy property there, been around for a few decades in the Joshua Tree region. Since then, a lot of things have evolved in the market. For most of you probably know that. And one of these, so one of our goals is how do we better monetize the land that they already have, utilizing the infrastructure they have quickly and minimally invasive to Mother Earth. We took 4 campsites. We figured out how to beautify and glampify the land. We added some more plants and trees. We added some more amenities. And then we inserted 4 of our cabins, 2 queen units, which you'll see more of, and 2 hostel units, which feature 2 sets of bunk beds. With both of these, we really embraced a design ethos that was buying for the local environment. We used a lot of reclaimed materials and natural materials. We embraced local artists for both the interior and exterior art program, both of which are really important to us. Again, minimally invasive to Mother Earth and supportive of people and local community was important. With that, we were able to roll out 4 cabins in a matter of just a few weeks late last spring, and then run those through the gauntlet of a scorching hot summer into the fall here and out into winter. As we continue to do that, we are aggregating feedback through all of our channels and fortunately seeing an outsized performance. So within a matter of weeks, we were able to deploy these units, and within 3 months, the cabins were generating 7x the monthly revenue of what those dirt plots, those campsites, were previously generating, just as a camping setup. We were seeing peak rates exceeding 250. We had budgeted for 165, with an ADR nearing 200 on a monthly basis. Occupancy rate was 25% above the rest of the park, so the demand of these was standing on its own, despite the fact we had practically no marketing. A lot of this was becoming word of mouth or aggregate over just some basic SEO marketing. All of this come back down to a trickle-down effect of an estimated NOI margin of around 70% for these units. What we also want to clearly indicate too is we are only going to grow into it. We've walked into the new year already with some booming sales and are already booking right on through May at this point. And we anticipate testing peak rate as well as a higher ADR now that we enter the peak season here in the spring of Joshua Tree. The takeaways here, guys, is that what we're trying to do as a company is provide master planning of the site, amenities, interior, customer design are the capabilities that we broadly reach, but it all comes back down to great, quickly deployed units that really match your ethos as a property owner or operator to help you drive a higher ADR, better monetize the land that you have to drive not only positive reviews, but a better ROI on the land basis you have. So as we move through this, now we really want to talk about some of the tools that are in our toolkit. These are our models that are currently available. We currently have our Queen cabin, our Hostel cabin, and a new prototype that'll be coming, and that is this pod hotel trailer, which we'll touch on momentarily. The Queen unit is definitely the Queen. It's the one that is really stealing a lot of the love in Joshua Tree. It's this cozy year-round cabin with premium queen bed. We also have a unfoldable sofa bed here that's also queen size. We have a beautiful live edge desk and full climate control and insulation for heating and air conditioning. This is great for your couples or families, about 160 square feet. This is a dry cabin, meaning there's no bathroom in sight, but we're utilizing facilities adjacent. The great thing here is that not only does it have this sort of beautiful design where you step in, it feels like you're almost in a Skanda cabin. It's really it's intentional to be exiting the environment you're in. It is something that's very soothing and cozy and comfortable. But we also have beautiful optionality here because of our templating for custom interiors, custom lighting, custom artwork. And then more than all this, we also have a high efficiency when it comes to delivery, being able to deliver our foldable infrastructure to as many as 10 units per truck for affordable shipping. Now, this is something we'll address on a case-by-case basis based upon your location. So with that all being said, we'll talk more a bit about pricing and optionality later, but we also want to call out that all of our units do have financing available via Business Finance Depot, insurable via Levitt Group, and also, of course, as we'll touch later, some of the limited time discounts for you all as ResNexus clients. Moving into our other unit, this is the Hostel unit. Looks and feels very similar, but in this case, we've swapped out the queen size beds for 4 Hostel units. These have been extremely well received for music festivals on site, also for families with groups where parents will take over the queen seat and then put their kids into this one. So we're seeing a lot of really unique complementary features here, as this is a really highly flexible solution. This is also great for a lot of those solo travelers. We're seeing the hikers, the bikers, the backpackers come in on a multi-day basis or even stay for longer. So similar features here. And again, all insurable and financeable through it, just a different setup here. And again, in our approach here, the art interior and exterior was featuring local artists, which is something we can always work with you on down the road. Now, the next one that is coming up, this is actually something that has been designed in collaboration with California State Parks, going back to that massive need and lack of supply along the California coast. The California State Parks has a strategic initiative to drive more and unique cabins to their property. And so we have designed this mobile hostel. It's a really great, cozy, year-round solution for groups or solo travelers. It's perfect for festivals, hikers, bikers, backpackers. It's also available where you could essentially raft these all together adjacent or in various forms to create multiple deck options, awnings, rooftop viewing decks, etc., to create this really quickly applicable outdoor hotel experience through these. Within, you'll see on the left side here is the exterior features. On the interior, you're seeing the 4 units. These are double stacked, so there's one above another. And each of these are fully secure, fully individual controlled HVAC with storage units down below. The exteriors have controllable access in and out of the unit, and then every individual unit has limited controllable access through digital padlocking and such. So all of these have been are currently under review with California State Parks for one of their ventures coming up. In addition, as Doug mentioned previously, efficiency is important. So these are all capable to be solar powered based upon your location there, of course. And as we move through this too, excuse me, we want to really move into how do you bring this all to life. So we'll turn it back to Doug to touch on a bit more about land use and permitting.
Yeah, so on this side, I'm obligated to say neither of us are attorneys and or we're self-proclaimed experts in this space, but so please do rely on your own attorney and planning guidance. But essentially, there are a lot of different ways to permit things that are between permanent structures, and a truly temporary structure. And so you could kind of view this as a spectrum where, on the one side, you have like a cloth tent, that just gets pitched, every once in a while. And on the other side, you have like a fully permanent building with, engineered foundations, that goes through the code and everything like that. Um, and so, uh, there are different jurisdictions, depending on what product type, you're installing and where you are. And so the easiest way, to get these things installed is by using park models. And so we have a park model certification available. We have a manufacturer in Utah, that can build these and ship them, fully built and ready to install with a VIN number and a park model certification. And so that basically installs with no permits anywhere where you have an RV park, or a special occupancy park. Um, then jurisdiction by jurisdiction, there's the ability to install temporary structures, or camping cabins, in this case. In California, there is a specific section of code of the Public Health and Safety Code called California camping cabins. And there are analogous code sections in some other jurisdictions that would apply to structures like geodesic domes, and kind of hard-sided accommodations that are installed, but not necessarily attached to a foundation. And then, there's this factory built, manufactured home, type of designation, where you can build something in a factory and then it's mobile until it's physically attached to a foundation when it becomes part of the land, and then there's separate HUD or building code requirements that go with that. And so basically what we have now are two different ways to install what we've already designed. One of them is with the park model paradigm, which would be under Department of Transportation, applies to any existing RV park, no permit required. The other one is the camping cabin designation in California or any of these analogous rules, in other jurisdictions. And that would be jurisdiction by jurisdiction, but we can help, we can provide documentation, to support that exploration with your local jurisdiction. And then we have, factory built and other, kit of parts, type of products, in the R&D stage where, there might be some other options in the future, but that's really the paradigm that we're in right now. All right. And then, yeah, I think for ResNexus, we have had a great experience with them, in our Joshua Tree pilot location. We are offering a $2,500 discount per unit, for anybody that's interested in adding our products to their parks. You just have to deposit by the end of January if you're interested in taking advantage of that. And then shipping, we will work, that can be highly variable, but we're offering a shipping credit of up to $2,500, in the Southwestern US if you've got certain order quantities and you're interested and you're near enough, to where some of our hubs are. If you're interested in The park model stuff, those are manufactured in Utah, and the camping cabin type of products are manufactured by our general contractor partner in Southern California from shells that are imported from Asia. So basically, those are insulated steel foldable shells that ship 10 to a container from China, and they get shipped to Southern California and finished with our furniture package, our doors, our security, our specifications in Southern California. And those unit types, by the way, have been installed by municipalities for homeless housing and other types of uses. We've basically taken those products and we've repurposed them for the glamping use. And the real appeal of the camping cabin type of product is that these can fold and ship very efficiently, up to 10 units per shipment, which is something I don't believe any other hard-sided type of accommodation can offer. In the park model category, we can get 2 to 3 per truck, depending on ultimate destination and size of the units. So yeah, so the terms of our sale, I think we're taking deposits of 10K to start orders. Once we get the materials in-house and begin construction, we're looking for to take that up to 50%, and then remaining balance is due on delivery. So I think with that, I'm sure there are lots of other questions you might have, but with that, I think we can go to Q&A.
Yeah, and the one thing I just want to say is, so as you kind of see here, and the one that we want to really emphasize is that when we talk about glamping made easy, it's about addressing the key factors, the challenges of cost, the challenges of time, and the challenges of operational efficiency. And so with that, we feel confident not only through running this with our partner in Joshua Tree that we've been able to tackle all three of those unique challenges. And as we continue to grow and work with unique developers and operators, we're excited to continue to modify what has become a highly flexible product to cater to your unique environment, your unique customer experience, and your unique vision for your land and overall your glamping experience. And so coming back down to that, it's really that knowledge, time, experience, and challenges that Doug and I have overcome in the world of developing and operating many a business prior to this, and really tackling and now living and breathing this for the last couple of years alongside a lot of people out there in the world of ResNexus.
So Gavin, I see a question here. Do you want to read this out or
Yeah, sure I will in just a second here. Sorry guys, I was going to turn on my video, but my camera stopped working, so apologies for that. Um, yes, we got a question here. Let's see. They ask, what about heating? I can see you have the AC worked out, but will the solar be the source of heating, or do you have other plans or products? And they also say thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, so thank you, Scotty, for the question. So right now, these air conditioning units are actually heat pumps, as well. So the heating and the cooling come from the same unit. That's just the easiest way, to make maintenance and replacement simple. And so that's our present solution. Now, depending on, if you want to install this in an ice fishing lodge, in Minnesota, in winter, then we may be looking at something supplemental, like a diesel, heater, booster or something like that. But right now it is a heat pump that is providing the heat.
All right, there we go. I got it worked out. All right, and follow up, what is the solar calibrated for in terms of output?
Gotcha. Yeah, so right now we have 1600 watts, of solar on each of the units that you can see in this picture. And so, that could probably go up to 2000 or 2400, if it was really necessary. But 1600 watts, should be enough, for most locations. And that that requires an inverter capable of handling, all of that flow. We like the EcoFlow system, just again because it's plug and play, pretty simple to use. And so we are operating in the EcoFlow system, and it would probably be a Delta Pro Ultra, that we would recommend with two batteries. That's 12 kilowatts of storage. For most folks, that would be more than enough. So it'd be 1600 watts on the roof, 1200 or 12 kilowatts in terms of storage. And I think that'll handle up to 32 watts of solar. But I'd have to double check that last spec.
All right, that sounds great. I got a couple more questions here, but before I do, I forgot to mention earlier, just thank you guys so much for that presentation and showing us all about these units. I'm personally very excited about them. I hope we see a lot of adoption for them so I can stay in one of them. They look like a lot of fun, and I hope to stay in one day. So,
Having a
thank you for
rough
that.
anytime.
All right. So, like I said, we got a couple other questions here. We got a question. We're sorry to hear about the wildfires in California. If people were to lose housing, would your units be able to put up as temporary shelter? And then, kind of along with that, what would be the max occupancy per unit?
Hmm. Um, well, certainly. I mean, I think these emergency housing was one of our initial focuses, for developing this. And we have a partner, a general contracting partner that helped us build these. The name of the company now is Folding Project, but he was one of the founders of a company called Fold'em, and that was initially how these folding units were developed, and disaster relief was one of their, primary focuses. Now, um, I think absolutely the intent, and empathy and desire are there. It's really a matter of scale. Right now we just don't have the ability, to, manufacture and deploy, that kind of capacity, without a significant, injection of funding. And so if FEMA were to show up and say, here's a big check, we'd be ready very quickly, to deliver on this. But really it's a matter of capital, to address a need like that, because that's a city scale need. We're talking tens of millions of dollars to, to really be able to put a dent in that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
in terms of the max capacity question, it really depends a bit on those local ordinances and use in emergency situation. And it's being used, but comfortably four, you could probably max out around 6 to 8 with a narrower bunk setup. Right now, our bunks are a little bit more luxurious. But if you were to move to emergency shelter, you could find other applications and we could work with you to do that. But right now, let's say comfortably four, and that's what we have right now with potential to go up from there.
Yeah, and there's a cap, there's a physical constraint and a legal constraint depending on which type of permitting you're pursuing, and there are subtle differences between emergency housing, permanent housing, RV code, and yeah, and building code. And so just a little asterisk there.
Yeah, sounds like a complicated intersection of different codes.
Mhm.
Um, One more question that we have. It looks like it might be the last one. Let's get some more coming in. This question is, do you have any experience of parks using these units as like a long-term housing solution for like construction teams who might be working in rural areas who don't have a lot of living options?
Yeah, so our partner has installed these in all kinds of locations. We do have people, that have installed these in locations where they are in long-term use. We've had cities install these, for homeless solutions, and so those are intended as long-term use. Um, and I think the initial intent of these was to deploy them as construction trailers. That was kind of how they started life, was as temporary construction trailers. So yes, construction industry applications, yes, long-term use cases, and yes, residential, but not necessarily all in the same uh, concentric circle. And
All right.
so,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
so Gavin, if you've got other questions, we're happy to answer them. If we've got a little bit more time, Jeff, do you think it's worth playing that video with kind of an aspirational installation?
Yeah, let's go ahead and queue up what we're going to be looking at here, Doug.
All right. Do you need me to share that?
No, go ahead. It's going to start to autoplay right in. But I think
Okay.
what we're going to try to share here is a unique need and opportunity that we see as we continue to further evolve as an organization and evolve the glamping experience. So, why don't you give a little foundational knowledge about what we're trying to tackle here, and then we'll dive into that short video.
Yeah, so this was a resort that had some excess land, and they contacted us and said, hey, what would you do with this? What could be done with this? And so you'll be able to see a little bit of the look and feel of the existing resort at the beginning of the video, and then it'll show you, kind of this undeveloped portion of the site, which had been developed, kind of as um, an archery range, with a rock climbing course. And then I think for insurance reasons, they
Mhm.
pulled the plug on that. Now it's been sitting vacant and they're looking to do something else with it. And
So
so
let's go
this
ahead
is
and dive in. Or say, go
what
ahead.
we proposed. All right, so that was an example of how you can kind of take the raw cabin unit, dress it up, segregate it a little bit, add some exclusivity, with private spaces, incorporate a separate bath, and and that's the kind of product where this could be, or application where this could be fit inside of a much higher end, type of a product.
That's great. I'm going to drop a link in the chat that I probably should have done earlier. But for any of our customers or anyone else who wants to get started with Hostel Cubed, we've got a referral page. If you click that link, you'll be able to go there and you can fill that out and get in touch and yeah, see what you can do to get some of these awesome units.
Perfect. Yeah, and please do go through the link. That's how we can make sure you qualify for the discount as well.
Yes, make sure you get that credit.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Is there anything else you guys want to go over today? I thought that was a really good webinar. I feel like we had some good engagement, and I really appreciated how you guys showed off not only the specifications of the units and what it would be like to stay there, but you also showed, kind of the ROI and kind of some of the numbers that would be helpful to someone who's, looking to add these to their inventory for the property. So I like how you explored all angles of that. I thought you did a fantastic job as well. So, um,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate your invitation and support here, and all of our participants that took time out of their day to come say hello.
yes, absolutely. Thank you to everyone who attended. Yeah, exactly the same. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
Please do reach out, everyone. We've got our email here. We're also on Instagram and through the link through ResNexus. We're also a phone call away. One of the things we like to make sure is, as opposed to some other groups out there, we kind of give a natural white glove service. And so everyone who reaches out will receive a direct email or phone call. We love to talk to you. So that's our first preferred route. So please do reach out. We'll drop you a line. We could chat a little more about your unique situation, your dream, your vision. And really, that's our important goal, is really white glove service throughout the entirety of the process to make sure that you are able to fulfill whatever it is you are trying to receive. That's just in our blood. That's in our approach, having been multi-decade hospitalitarians, and it's always going to be part of our MO moving forward. So again, please reach out and please expect a direct line from us. We'd love to talk to you soon.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much, and have a good rest of your day, everybody. See ya.
Thank you, everyone.